So I've done something ridiculous. I have started sending letters from a magical woodland post office, and apparently that involves an alarming amount of stationery. So today I'm going to show you everything that I have been gathering to actually make the letters, introduce you properly to my little Mushwood character that is featuring in the first pack, and then we are gonna pack my very first order together. And hopefully you will quite quickly see that it is a lot more than just sending someone some pretty pieces of paper through the post. So get cozy, grab a cuppa, and let's go make something magical. Okay, so let's start with this slightly ridiculous part, because when I first had this idea, I thought, how complicated can it be to actually send some little letters from a magical woodland? And then I actually started making it, and there's quite a lot of stuff involved. Obviously, these are all the practical things, the paper, the card, and the envelopes. These things are not particularly magical, but they are unfortunately quite necessary if you want to physically post something to someone. I might have got absolutely carried away with all the different stickers. And I don't really have a defense for this. I started with the idea that I would just need a few little woodlandy stickers, and somehow I've ended up with quite a lot. And then there are the stamps, and these might actually be one of my favorite things. I had these specifically made for letters from Fern Forest, and I don't know why, but having your own little postal stamp is so exciting, but it really is. There's something about actually being able to stamp the envelopes that makes it feel like a real little postal service rather than an idea that only exists in my head. And this is probably a good point to explain why I am creating all of this, because letters from Fern Forest isn't really about getting a whole bunch of stationery through your letterbox. It's about creating a little moment every month. One of the things that sits right at the heart of Elm Bee is that as adults we can be so busy and so practical and so sensible that we forget to notice the little things. We forget to play, we forget to be curious, and we forget that it's actually quite nice to have something completely unnecessary and a little bit magical in our lives. And I think that's something that I have always been drawn to in my own art. Those little magical things that maybe aren't there, but we can imagine that they are. The little doorway at the bottom of a tree, a mushroom that looks like it belongs to a magical creature, and dragonflies that skip across a pond and look like fairies playing in the evening sun. That feeling of childhood wonder that I think we don't actually have to grow out of. And that brings us to the first character, who is going to be arriving in letters from Fern Forest. Merryweather was one of the first Mushwoods that I really started to develop a personality for. Let me show you her very original first sketch. Here she is with the rest of the Red Cap gang, and here is her first little painting that I created of her. But I've also had great fun imagining her in different seasons, and she has featured as a cute little pumpkin at Halloween and as part of the original Mushwood trio on Christmas Day. I even did this little sketch of her holding a letter, which I absolutely loved colouring in, and then I painted her in the same way, again holding her letter and her little quill, which seems highly appropriate now. And this is where the whole thing seems a little bit bigger than just some happy mail, because Merryweather is part of Fayfern Forest, and Fayfern Forest appeared through my paintings. And I didn't sit down one day and decide I was going to paint a magical forest full of whimsical mushroom characters. It sort of painted itself into existence through my daily art challenge. During the daily art challenge, I was painting one mini 7x7 canvas every single day, and I just kept finding myself returning to woodlands, hidden cottages, and mysterious paths. Then suddenly appeared these little woodland creatures who lived there. And gradually I started noticing that all of these paintings belonged to the same place, a place that I now know of as Fayfern Forest. So let's actually pack my very first order. Every letter starts with a welcome from me, because although this is coming from Fayfern Forest, there's a real person behind it who's super excited you're here. Then there's a letter from Merryweather. And I'm not going to read this to you because I want the actual letter to be something that belongs to anyone who receives it. Then there is one of my wonder cards. These are something that I am particularly excited about because I wanted something that you could actually keep. And I love oracle cards and affirmation cards myself. And there's something lovely about having a tiny little card that you can put on your desk, pin on a notice board, stick on the fridge, or tuck away in your handbag. Something that you might see during an ordinary day and be reminded of a little thought or feeling. And the idea with these is that you can collect them, and over time you will have your own little deck of woodland wonder cards. There is also a little excerpt from my Fayfern Forest field guide, and this is actually something that I am very quietly building in the background. I have this idea of creating this much bigger proper field guide for Fayfern Forest eventually. So while I'm developing that, I'm creating these little collectible pieces. But they won't always be characters. Sometimes they might be a place in the forest. Sometimes they might be a creature, a feeling, a ritual, something that happens there, or a little piece of woodland lore. And the star of the show is probably the collector's art print. And this is particularly special to me because the artworks come from my 365-day art challenge. And Fern Forest was one of the things that gradually emerged from that challenge. So there's a little piece of history included in here as well. And I've put all the information on the back because I wanted each print to feel like it was something that you could actually keep and collect, rather than just a pretty little piece of paper that ends up disappearing into a drawer. I'm also putting in these cute little extra envelopes, and these are gonna have little hand curated collectibles every month. I don't want to show them all because it's nice to keep some things a surprise, but there are 6 little items in here. They could be papers, stickers, pieces of ephemera, and things that you can use however you want. You don't have to make something with them. You don't have to be an artist. You don't even have to be particularly crafty. They are just fun to keep and collect. And I think that's actually quite important for me because although Letters from Fern Forest come from my art world, it isn't really about being good at art. It's about giving yourself permission to have a little bit of creative time, and that is what the creative ritual card is all about. Maybe you write something, you draw something, you knit something, you bake something. Maybe you just go for a walk and actually notice what's around you. And maybe all you do is sit down with a cup of tea and read this letter and do absolutely nothing else. I don't really mind what you do with it. I just want to give you a little excuse to slow down for a moment and bring a little bit of wonder back into your ordinary life. And then every month there is one more thing, an unexpected delivery, and I am deliberately not going to show you what is inside this because I want it to remain a surprise for anybody who receives it. But this is a little something extra that will change from month to month, so you even get to have a little bit of fun deciding what mysterious thing might be in the next envelope. So once everything is in, we wrap it all up . Then it goes into an envelope. We add a little sticker. It's already got its official Fern Forest postmark. So we seal it all up. And that's it. One little piece of Fern Forest ready to make its way through the letterbox. And I think what I am really trying to create with all of this is not just a monthly parcel, not just some beautiful artwork, but a reminder that as adults we can still have a little bit of wonder in our lives. You can still be curious, you can still make things, you can still collect magical little treasures. You can still believe that a tiny little door at the bottom of a tree might lead somewhere interesting. You don't have to be an artist, you don't have to be particularly creative, and you certainly don't need to be good at anything. You just have to give yourself some permission to have a little bit of time and a little bit of space just for you. Letters from Fern Forest is open now. So if you'd like to receive one of these little pieces of forest through your letterbox, I'll put all the details in the description below. And who knows, perhaps the next letter from Fayfern Forest will be arriving in your postbox. So just remember, relax, play, create, and you will make something magical.